We'll ask for Coach Donahue to make an opening statement, and then we'll open it up for questions. Coach, you're on.
Thanks, Dave. Obviously, it's an honor to be here in the Atlantic 10 representing St. Joe's University. Obviously, it's something new for me, and I can't tell you how impressed I am with everything that the Atlantic 10 has done, not just today, but how you care about basketball and the resources that you have behind it. And I feel it for a coach who's been in this business a long time, and I'm extremely excited to participate in this league.
Question, just raise your hand right in front here.
Jack Morgan, A10 Talk. Coach, I'm just wondering if you can kind of give us maybe a little bit of a timeline as to how it came about for you to take the job as St. Joe's head coach.
Sure, Jack. Billy Lang has been a real close friend for me for over 30 years. I would think I've been a mentor to him, but he's also been someone I could really rely on. So we speak weekly throughout our career. And when the situation arrived at Penn, he was the first to call me and really asked me if I would consider coming there as an assistant. And I had other things I was considering. Wasn't sure if I was going to pursue much, but I looked at a lot of things. But at the end of the day, I thought it was a great opportunity to go with a coach I really respect and trust, and someone I can learn from, but I feel I can have an impact on the program with high-level players in a great league, and I don't have to move my family. Fast forward that to a couple weeks ago on a Sunday, and he called me and just said he has an opportunity with the Knicks that he can't turn down. He recommended me to our athletic director, Jill Bodensteiner, and Jill got with me the next day and asked if I was interested in the job, and of course I was. Here I am.
Steve, when you kind of look in the back, obviously when a new coach comes in, they try to leave their own mark or they have their own ideas and whatnot. Given the compressed timeline here, is there much that changes for you guys heading into this season, or will it be kind of tweaks along the way for you?
Well, I've been here since late April, and Billy and I talked long hours about how we wanted to build our summer and then going into the season with returning players like Anthony, but also the 4 transfers and a couple freshmen. And so I don't think it's that drastic in Anthony's mind as a player from what he saw in the summer. So Billy was already starting to do some, mostly on the offensive end, where I thought I could have impact. The defensive end is something that Billy was ready to go because of the way our roster was built. We thought we could play up-tempo. We thought we could pick up 94 feet. We think we have a lot of length and athleticism and depth. So we've already had that. I think from the player's standpoint, I don't think they've noticed that much different from the summer, if I'm correct.
Tristan.
Tristan Freeman of Bustin' Brackets. Question for each of you. Coach, some of your teams from the past at Cornell and Penn who made the tournament, there was a lot of balance, but there was definitely offensive production throughout the front court. With Rasheer Fleming gone, how confident are you that guys like Anthony Finkley and Justin Ojibor can sort of replace that scoring so your team can remain balanced?
Yeah, I looked over the rosters over the last couple of days in this league. I think we have one of the most returning guys with experience in the league, and 4 out of our top 7. You mentioned those 2, but also Derek Simpson and Dashir Haskins are also back. And Billy has done an excellent job retaining players. We really only lost 1 to the portal, 1 to the NBA and 1 to graduation. I think we have really good depth. I thought we added pieces like Deuce Jones and Jaden Glover, Al Amadou, in particular, all 3, I think can contribute with the scoring, whether it's they can score, make plays for others, and the style we'll play. I'm confident that we have plenty of scoring to help us be a balanced offensive team.
And for Anthony, when the news with Coach Lang's hit, there was a 30-day window for the transfer portal for any of you if you wanted to leave. What were the conversations you guys had as players when it happened? Was there any even a thought of possibly leaving before the season?
Of course, we were, I would say heartbroken, but no, I didn't have a thought on entering the portal. I believe in what he got going on. I believe he trusted me and I trusted him, so I'm good where I am.
Additional questions?
Mel.
Mel? Yeah,
Mel Brinkman.
good eye.
So other than the family aspect, I've asked this a lot on the women's side when an assistant moves up there. But the mere fact, given Philadelphia and basketball and everything else, how much easier it is slipping an aspect where you're basically in place but just across town as opposed to, let's say, you took a job in the Midwest.
No, I think for sure for me, St. Joe's has been a home for me, even though I haven't worked there. My sister was a vice president there for over 40 years. I had 4 siblings go to St. Joe's. My son graduated from St. Joe's. I watched every one of Billy's games over the last 7 years. It didn't feel strange for me to be there. I understand what the mission of the university is about. I know how important basketball is to the university. So I feel I'm a really good fit, and I can't tell you how excited I am to coach a game at St. Joe's.
Zach, in front.
Anthony, Zach Weiss, Pittsburgh Sports Now. I'm curious what the biggest takeaway you got out of personally yourself, your game, and your team was last season, and how that can move and carry over to this season.
One of the biggest takeaways I would take from last season, I would say don't take nothing for granted, I would say. And, appreciate the moment. I feel like there's games we slipped up on, we should have won and stuff like that. But, I mean, now that I'm, older and upperclassmen and stuff, I know what it takes to win, and I know what it takes day to day.
If I can add to that, I just think he had a tremendous league season last year. I was kind of disappointed that he wasn't recognized as one of the better players going into this season. He's been through it. He was a big part of what St. Joe's success last year was, and to me, he's taken his game to another level just watching him over the last 5 months. I'm excited for what he's done. I think going through what he did as a sophomore, and now he's an upperclassman, is really going to show on the court this year.
Any additional questions? All right, Coach, looks like you're free
Thank
to
you.
go. Thank you.
Yep.
Have a good year.
Yeah, I tell you what, if I was a coach, Christy, I would tell them to not put any of my players on the preseason teams, right? Because there's been a few quote snubs or whatever today. It just fuels them even more. You don't get an award for the preseason, first team. So it's at the end of the year, okay? I could care less what the preseason rank is, to be honest with you. Coach Donahue, that's a perfect fit.
Yes.
What happened was it was in April. Associate head coach Justin Scott goes to Oklahoma, and then Xavier Brown, who's his stepson, follows him there,
Right.
and that freed up the spot. So Donahue comes in as an assistant coach, and then, of course, Billy Lang just leaves about a month ago for a great opportunity, so enter Donahue. But I like what they did there. They got a good connection. He's obviously knows the program, has been a part of it for a long time. Already back to Pitt with Seth and Coach Donahue and Anthony Finkley.
Thanks, Mike. Anthony, Coach. Coach, anything going on in your life the last 3 weeks?
It's been a little wild 3 weeks, but I got a job closer to home, and I got a promotion.
Well, you got a promotion. You earned a promotion. You've had incredible success. In fact, I'd still be coaching if you didn't kick my rear end, after we beat Duke, but that's another story. What have the last 3 weeks been like?
I'm just really grateful for the opportunity to get into a place like St. Joe's, and it jumps out at you that they care deeply about basketball and coach real high-level people and players like Anthony. I couldn't ask for more, Seth.
So, Anthony, when obviously Coach Lang decided to move on to the Knicks, and you heard that Coach Donahue was going to be named the head coach? It's a tough question. It's an easy one to answer. Don't tell anyone. What went through your mind?
I honestly was like, it was cool for me, honestly, because, I mean, he'd been around for a good amount of time. I built a little bit of a connection with him. He trusted me and I trusted him, so it wasn't really that much of a harder transition for me.
And in terms of style of play, Coach, were you able to instill, and your teams were always so hard to play against, instill some of your offensive concepts, and do these players fit the identity that you want them to have?
You know, two things. One, Billy and I talked about this for months. We did implement a lot of the things I wanted to do on offense in the summer. And two, I was shocked at the IQ and the skill level. There's certain things that aren't identical, but we have length, size, and athleticism that I'm not used to, that I got to learn what I can do with that.
You know, when I think of St. Joe's, my brother was an assistant coach at St. Joe's for Coach Lynham, and I know Coach has been by practice. When I say St. Joe's basketball to you, you've been there and you're part of the culture and the identity, like what goes through your mind?
I'd say like a gritty team, I would say. A lot of threes. That's what it used to be, but I mean, it's making a turn, I would say, as in more ball movement.
Yeah. Well, I think of St. Joe's basketball. I think of some of the great coaches in the history of the game. I think of an incredible tradition, hard place to play, great players, great coaches, great tradition, and they've got a really, really terrific basketball coach right now, Coach Donahue. So I'm excited to watch the Hawks because what? The Hawks will never what? The Hawks will never die. I'm not doing that flapping thing, though. I don't know how that dude does it for the whole game or she does it for the whole game, but it is absolutely one of the great feats in the history of college basketball.
Just one wing. Get one wing.
Yeah, we're
Just
not paying you
one.
any more money, Seth. We don't have it. They got a
There
full
he is.
ride.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seth, I was
We got
also
both of them.
noticing a theme that you've lost to most of these 8-10 coaches at one point or another in your career. Is that accurate?
I love it. I love it. I thought he was just going to do one little lemon pepper wing like that. He did both of
And then
them. I'm not mad at him. Good.
And then we shut his mic. That's great. No, there are a ton of stuff going on with the Hawks in
Yeah.
a short amount of time.
Yeah.
But I don't know how they could have done it any better, right, in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, that's just preparation for life skills, right? You have to pivot. We learned that over the COVID. You know, there are ways in which to make pivots and adjustments. Same as in game, right? If someone's in foul trouble or someone, God forbid, gets injured, you got to make pivots and you got to be able to make quick adjustments and keep going.